Hi folks, this is Steve here doing another quick video on Dorico 5, kind of a beginner's guide to common topics. Sometimes I do these to remind myself of how I did something, let's say a year from now. I guess it's just one of the vagaries of getting older. In this particular video, we're going to look how to customize a staff text shortcut so you can create a special set of text in your Dorico according to your own parameters, and how to save that to a shortcut. And then after we've done that, I'm going to mention a couple of things after importing an XML file. As many of you know, I do a lot of this. People ask me to take a piece of music, digitize it with Smart Score, and then either transpose it or create a conductor score if they don't have one. So I do a lot of importing of XML files out of Smart Score, and I'll use Dorico to make a couple of points here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started at least on the customizing staff text shortcut. So here we have the beginnings of an XML file that's been imported just for the purposes of this video. It's Clarinet Polka. When you import the XML file, of course, it brings it immediately into the full score view, but we can go ahead and put it into the individual part. And during the process of doing some digitization, I had to make a number of text annotations in the score that the conductor wanted, and they wanted it to look a very certain way. So because I had so many pages to do, I wanted to customize a shortcut on how to do that. Okay, so now let's go about explaining how I did that. That is to create a way to enter into Dorico text on the staff that looks exactly the way that I want it, and saving that as a shortcut. Okay, well, where one starts with that process is to go to the library and select paragraph styles. And this is how Dorico organizes many of these styles with respect to text and how things go. Rehearsal marks, many things are contained within here, including lyrics. So the first thing I want to do then is to show you how to create your own specific style. Go down here to the bottom left, click New. Now it says New Paragraph Style, and we can rename it. So let's just call it Loud. It can be anything you want. You don't need to have a parent. You can now change the font to whatever it is you wish it to be. We'll leave it at Academico. Let's go ahead and make it under style Bold Italic. And let's go ahead and change the size. Oh, I don't know, to 9. And you can make it either staff relative or absolute, meaning that regardless of the staff size, if it's absolute, it will always be 9 points. You can change it to staff relative, of course. And you have many other options. Stretch, letter spacing, you can put a border around them, indentation, and alignment. So these are all things that you can change according to your needs. But I'm going to go ahead and just make it where I type it. Now, for this to show up on an ongoing basis, particularly if you want to assign a keyboard shortcut, you have to save it as a default. And how you save it as a default is you come down here to the lower left, and there's a star right here. And you can make the star glow, and it is now saved as a default. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. So now you've defined in paragraph styles a new paragraph style or a new text style called Loud. Click OK. Now we want to assign that a specific shortcut so you can actually use it. How do we do that? Well, we go to on a Mac, which I'm on. You can go to Dorico, under Preferences. key commands. Now, because we saved that new paragraph style loud as a default, it's actually going to show up in our key commands list here, and it almost always will be under note editing, because in Dorico we put in our text in the note tab. So let's click on note editing. Many things here. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry. Senior moment. Note input. Strike. Note editing. Note input. Oh, gosh. That's why I write these videos sometimes. So we can go down to this long list of note input. We can go to create text. You'll see there's two drop downs, create system text, create text. If we click on create system text, loud shows up. If we click on create text, loud shows up. What's the difference? If you put the key command under create system text, your key command will always create your text to be relative to the system. That if you have multiple systems, for example, in a layout, it will show up in all. In my particular case, I needed it to be specific to the staff line. So you create the text and under regular create text. Loud. Okay. Now you've got your little key command here. And now the time has come to assign it a key command. And you've got to give it some thought to make sure that you don't end up, making a conflict. But in this case, I'm going to press Control L. Okay. I'm going to add the key command. I doubt if there's another Control L anywhere, but you can go look to make sure you're not going to mess it up. I'm going to delete these anyway when I'm done with here, so my system doesn't get messed up. So now we press the shortcut, we pressed our keys, we've added the key commands, now we can hit apply, we can hit close. So now I want to make it loud right there. I can hit the key command, Control L, type in hello, and see? Now it doesn't look, particularly bold and italic, but you get the point. Because I've created it though as regular text, staff text, I can flip the hello above and below just by pressing F. Okay? F, make it below, F, make it above. Okay, and now from this point on, that will appear wherever you open a document. You can use that key command. So I want to go ahead though and show you how to get rid of it, just because we're trying to be complete here. Back to preferences, back to key commands, back to note input, back to loud under create text, and we can remove the key command. Apply and close. I'm going to go back to the library, paragraph styles, and get loud away. Hit the garbage can. Oh, won't let me, what's going on here, guys? Oh, I have to take off the default star, maybe. Huh. Trying to figure out, I've actually never tried to get rid of something before. Well, I'll come back to that. I don't have to do that right now. Should have been able to just delete it with the trash can. Let's go back and see if I can do it now. Interesting. I'm just going to look real quick here. Reset to factory, save as default, delete. Isn't that interesting? I would have thought I could have just gotten deleted that. Okay, well, let's go back to the rest of the video and I'll think about that, why I couldn't delete that key command. Okay, so when you import something as an XML file, I just want to make a few words about this. The SmartScore 64 program that I use does not do a great job of bringing in certain text elements like composer, arranger, even titles. So let's show you how I quickly do that. Now, we've had videos on this before, so this is not particularly strange. So let me bring this window over here. Let me bring the original out here. Okay. So now I want to go ahead and and just go ahead and get Dorico to recognize the correct titles, subtitles. How do we do that? We're in Dorico. Like I said, many of you know this already. Command I brings up the project information box. We just start typing in clarinet polka. The subtitle is for clarinet ensemble with optional rhythm section. I'm not making it exact, but you're getting the point. The composer is traditional. The arranger is Eric Osterling, but you have to actually write in arranger. Arranged by Eric Osterling. Okay, we can apply it. And in the project info box, it lists the first always as the first flow. Can't really ever get away with that when you bring in an XML file. We don't really have flows in this file, but like I said, the project is named and then the first thing that's imported is the first flow. So we can copy the information from the project and we can close it. Whoops, I didn't apply it. Now I can close it. Okay, so now we can see that some things were added, but we want to add in the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and drag our little buddy out here. And how do we go ahead and add the subtitle and the arranger? Well, we do that, of course, in the engrave mode. And in the engrave mode, we change it by virtue of changing the page templates. So we'll start, the first page is the first page template. Click on that. And now here's when we can start to change the tokens. We don't have a lyricist, so we can just simply, instead of project lyricist, put in project arranger. Okay, these are Dorico tokens. And the token default is always this bracket at with in between. I'm sorry about my words today, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and make room in the template. We'll drag down the body box. We'll move the project arranger there. We want the project arranger to be centered, so we can highlight that. We can center it, okay? But now we want to add the subtitle. So let's move our little boxes down. And we go over here to our inserting frames. We want to insert a text frame. Click and drag. Okay. Double click inside the frame. Type in the new token. Bracket at project, subtitle. And by the way, these are all defined. You can look them up in a list of all the different tokens that Dorico uses. Select it, center it, copy it left to right, apply it, and close. And we can see clarinet polka, traditional, arranged by. And if we wanted this to be over to the side, of course, we can go back to the first page template, select that, and then right justify it. Okay. Sorry, right justify it. Okay. Copy it again, apply it. Oh, I must not have typed it in correctly. See, it's not there. This happens sometimes when you don't type things correctly. So let's retype it. I must not have typed it correct. Bracket at project subtitle at bracket, put it in the middle, apply it, left to right, apply it, close. There we go. I just must not have typed it right. Now, of course, we have to take away the subtitle heading here because there are no subtitles. We do that from the layout page. Shift-Command-L. Shift-Command-L brings us to layout options, and we can simply go down and never show flow headings for this project because there are no flow headings. Apply and close. Okay, so it's just kind of a quick review of how to do that. Well, all right, I'm going to sign off. Thanks, everybody. And I'm going to go figure out how to make that new loud thing go away. All right. Until later, bye.